Streaming. Is it up? It appears to be up, and you can see. I will hide the maid cam, sure. Alright. Right, okay. Volume testing, and I'm gonna play some music in the background as well. Maybe. Should I? I was thinking about it. How's that sound? Oh, you can't even hear it. Also, well, no. Let's look. Okay. It should be audible now. Barely. Damn, that's really quiet. Okay, I'll put it a little bit louder. But yeah. We're listening to the Calamity Terraria OST. And as you can tell, we're drawing Helena. So the reason that I'm doing this whole little drawing stream is last year, about halfway through the year, I did a Blade Nia drawing, right? And I streamed that to this YouTube channel privately. No one can see it. And I kind of just talked while the stream was going on, that sort of thing. So I was thinking I'll do the same thing again, because I actually had quite a good time listening to myself talking in the past. Like, ironically, I think I had some pretty funny things to say, pretty interesting things to say. A lot of my viewpoints on politics, that sort of thing, actually, match up with what I still think right now. But some things like my opinions on art and that sort of thing have changed pretty drastically. So I just kind of wanted to talk and while drawing at the same time. And let's see, right? We'll just see how this holds up in the future. Anyways, as far as our drawing goes, we're currently, drawing Helena, cozy with coffee, and we're working on the initial shading part. We've done, obviously, the line art and the base colors already. This initial shading is the beginning to the rendering. It's a process that I kind of did before, but I didn't really officially break it down into a full process until recently, and I think it's helping. So one thing that you might notice about my art, the way that I justify it, like logically why I do these steps. Currently, we have our line art, right? So let's take a look at this. Without coloring, our line art is just like this sort of thing. It's very thin. Now there is a bit of line thickness modulation, you can kind of tell, and all that, but the thickness of the lines is mostly consistent throughout. It's not the biggest variability, right? So after we add base coloring and that sort of stuff, we do this initial shade, and the initial shade is essentially meant to act as that line thickness modulation. It's kind of a substitute for it. We also have it acts like a substitute for the line thickness, so it helps define different surfaces and borders and that sort of thing. That's basically what I justified as recently. I did initial shading for a while without that justification understanding, and so sometimes the result was inconsistent because I just kind of did it. I just put initial shade on borders and edges, but sometimes I would put it in places that didn't make sense because I was not thinking about it like a surface. I was thinking about it just as a line. Now that I have that understanding, I think we've been able to at least more easily construct these initial shades. Let's see, what else do I want to talk about with regards to just the art? Because I think the first thing we want to get through is just a little overview of what I've done so far, what I've worked on, what I've been working on as far as art goes. Oh, you have no idea. So, the other reason I wanted to watch that old Nia video was I was just curious, like, what was my process? How did I go through things back then? And yeah, we've changed our process a decent bit, honestly. Uh, just a lot of drawing in the past few months, and I've grown a good amount as an artist. I think I've learned a lot, and my art's definitely improved. Now, am I satisfied with where my art's at? No. I'm not sure I ever will be, to be fully honest with you. I'm not sure what the criteria is for being satisfied with my own art, because there's just a lot that I still can't do, still don't know, and I still don't think my art looks particularly amazing. I think it's like so much better than it used to look, but it's still nothing special. And as much as I draw, I'd like for it to be something special. At least I'd like to think it is. And since I don't, well, we clearly have work to do. That's my rationale so far. My, what's it called? General following on social media has also increased by a pretty good amount. I was apparently under 200 followers at the time when I was recording my other stream, the Nia one. As of now, as far as I last saw, we were at 923. So yeah, that's a sizable increase, I would say. But following is actually not even the reason for drawing, as I've also found out recently. Some of my recent drawings, I've been doing some Xenoblade 2 drawings, finally. I'll get into that later. I guess we really do need to recap our art from the past 6-7 months. So, Blade Nia happened, and then I drew Ghostwalker, the Xenoblade X drawing, as I actually originally planned, right? I did that drawing, and then I did a Helena lewd drawing. So, yes, I drew her in like a compromised sort of situation, but it was consensual as far as I'm concerned. Essentially, I did that, and then I was kind of like, well, I kind of feel bad. I like Helena. I think I should at least draw her normally, right? So I do. I go ahead and I do a normal drawing of Helena after that. It was just like a really generic date sort of image where she's just wearing casual clothes. It was rainy and she has an umbrella. That's the first one. I'm sure you remember it. I don't think we'll forget. I mean, maybe, but as it currently stands, yeah, that's what the image was. And it was not very good at all. And I thought it was okay at the time, clearly. My views on art and like my eye for just this kind of stuff has drastically changed so much over time. I can see how like problematic some of the stuff that I drew was in the past, but I at the time legitimately couldn't tell. Like I expressed certain opinions in the Nia stream that made me kind of feel like, damn, was I really so arrogant to think my art back then was already good? Because I don't even think I would say that now, and I think my art is so much better now than it was before. It's damn. I kind of forgot that I said that, but I remember that I thought that way. So yes, it was me. Yeah, I've changed. That's like that peak. I don't know what the name of it was, but it's like the people who barely know anything about it think they know a lot. And then if you start learning more, you realize how much you don't know, and then your confidence in it drops. And then it takes like a long time before you slowly actually build up proper confidence by learning it over time. I think that's probably essentially what happened, where I was like thinking I was pretty good at one point, and then I realized no, I'm not. And the reason for that, we'll get back to it now, is Helena to some extent. So after I drew the date Helena, I wanted to draw another Helena, so I drew a maid Helena, cat maid Helena. It was just for fun, for shits and giggles. I don't really know exactly why I chose to do it. There's probably something about like me and my friends were just talking about stuff, and it was related to something, and I was just okay, let's draw a cat made Helena. I did the drawing, and then funny enough, in my own Discord server, my drawing server, I said something along the lines of, "We are not the kind of artist that draws a singular character only, right?" And then, guess what I proceeded to do? For the next about 3 months, I drew exclusively Helena. And I drew a lot of Helena. It wasn't like sporadic. So here's the pacing of last year's artwork was pretty whack. I drew 6 pieces in the first 6 months, I think, at total, which is, really slow. By my standards now, that's really slow, at least. 6 pieces in like the first 6 months or so. Basically nothing. And then I did about 3-4 pieces, I think, in the month that I started drawing Helena, and then we just continued doing about 3 to 4 bigger pieces every month after, if not more. We did a pretty consistent amount of drawings, and always Helena. I participated in the Sketchtember thing, which is like Inktober, but with sketches instead of inking, and it's the same thing otherwise. One drawing daily on some thematic prompt that you follow. So I did the entirety of Sketchtember. That's the 3rd month drawing challenge that I've completed in full out of 3 times that I've tried. I'm proud of that I actually have kind of drive and endurance to do these kinds of things and see them through well. But yeah, we drew Helena for every single day of that, in addition to also just drawing a shit ton of other Helena artwork. Outside of that, we drew Helena so much. Helena is basically the character that defines my art stuff now, and I'm sure you're aware, Vane is the artist that was most well known, who was a Helena artist before this, and he still is the most well known. I'm not surpassing him by any means, but he was the reason essentially that I probably started doing this to begin with, because I started drawing Helena initially, and I was not planning to draw more than a few at most, right? But as I was drawing Helena, this is not something I really talked to many people about, I'm sure. Have I talked to anybody about this? Probably not. It's just something that I keep to myself. But yeah, as I was drawing Helena, I observed a lot of arts of Helena, which almost every single Helena art drawing that's good is by Vane. So I invariably ended up looking at a lot of his artwork. And as I continued to look at it, I grew to admire so much of it, so many aspects of it, just the way that he did things, and the story of how he became an artist, essentially. He never told this story, but it is a story that you can easily piece together just by looking at, his posts. He started doing digital art around 2019, in the end of the year, like September or some shit, I think. Because he tweeted a little bit about getting a drawing pad that posted his first digital art. As you'd imagine, for a first digital art piece, it's pretty bad. Most everybody is going to not be very good when they do their first digital art piece, right? But pretty quickly, within a few weeks after, he was already posting solid artwork. Some stuff that I had never seen before. I scrolled all the way down his Twitter in order to essentially see his earliest artworks, because as far as I'm aware, he hasn't deleted anything. At least nothing significant. So yeah, his earliest artwork all is available on his Twitter if you scroll far enough. And I did that, and I continued to look through his old art, his old tweets, and the way that he carries himself, the way he's devoted to bringing more art for the best azur girl, Helena. The motivations that he had. He revealed his initial main motivation that carried him to want to do art professionally was also seeing another artist that was really good. He admired the way that guy did everything. He admired his unique art style. But the only reason that we were essentially told about this inspiration was because the inspiration died. The guy is no longer with us, and he is a good artist. I didn't know about him before, but I took a look at his artworks, and yeah, damn. I could really see why Vane is the artist that I admire. I could see why Vane admired that guy. It was, in Vane's own words, if all it took was wanting to draw your favorite character, anybody could have picked up a tablet and just started drawing, you know? That's pretty much what I did all those years ago when I started digital art in 2019, early. But it takes something more than just that. Some drive that pushes you to go beyond in order to truly become good at art. And those words, as he said it, made me kind of realize that, yeah, I've been taking art so lackingly. I haven't really studied, properly learned how to draw stuff to make it look good. And so my art, even 2 years in, was pretty shit. The other thing that makes me admire Vane so much is that, yeah, if you paid attention to the timeline, he started digital art after me. I started early 2019, he started almost at the end of 2019. His art is so good. Within just a few months, it was better than where I was last year, halfway through. Easily. I think 8 months into his digital art foray is when he entered an Azur art competition. As you know, Azur is about 90% based on his art. So the competition is very stiff. And he got, I believe, 5th place, which is insane for an artist who started just 8 months ago to be able to place that well in an Azur art competition. Yeah, there's actual evidence of him being an actually really good artist. It's not just bias or anything. Obviously, this is alongside his pretty sizable Twitter following and all that, but he wasn't a big artist back then either. He was just an artist. And he got to become well known because his shit's just really that good. I'll get back on this later, but where was I going with this? So yeah, I admire this artist a lot because the timeline of things shows that time certainly wasn't the issue, because he had less time than me and turned out way better than me. So if he can do it, why can't I? And with that kind of mindset, that propelled me to start really trying to learn how to do art. There were other factors like Bloons starting to do his own digital art foray. Bloons isn't as good as Vane, he's actually, I don't think anyone really is as good as Vane in terms of time. Bloons is, I wouldn't even say he's better than me, but he probably will be eventually, given the rate that he's learning. He's improved significantly in just, I believe he started about 8 months ago. Yeah, his stuff's pretty damn good at this point. But because he was a well-known Xenoblade community member before, it doesn't really matter how good his art is. His art is going to be well received regardless. And yeah, that's fair, whatever. But yeah, Bloons and Vane were kind of two catalysts that pushed me to really want to start learning how to do art. Really just work on it properly, study it, and improve myself. So I did. I finally started looking up resources like Aoki Saito on YouTube. He's a Japanese professional artist who's done stuff for Dragalia Lost, etc. He's pretty well renowned, and yeah, his art is good. His videos are very handy. They taught me a lot. A lot of what I know now is thanks to Aoki Saito. I owe it to these guys. And then recently I started watching a guy called Mark Brunette because I was feeling like my fundamentals were lacking, anatomy, posing, that sort of stuff. And Mark Brunette has more videos on that type of stuff, more directly technique fundamental related. So yeah, I watched those, and I think those were helpful too. But yeah, What was I talking about? Mostly just I drew Helena for like 3-ish months fully before I started drawing a couple of things that weren't Helena, but it was still primarily her. And the easy answer to what drives me to draw is, of course, saying, yeah, I like Helena a lot. But similarly to Vane, just simply liking a character isn't enough. I liked Elise a lot. She's kind of what propelled me to start drawing, but clearly it wasn't enough to get me to start being good at drawing, right? It was something else. I needed a little push, something beyond what Elise was able to offer, maybe. And so that came down to Helena. But the real answer is still probably Vane is what motivated me to draw as much as I have recently, to draw and learn. Vane's favorite character is Helena, as far as I'm aware. Because so part of that is why I've been drawing Helena so much, is I kind of admittedly want the attention of the guy that I look up to so much. And so I've actually managed to get his attention before, evidently, because he has retweeted two of my Helena drawings, but aside from those two, he's not. Those were like pretty early on too. He hasn't done anything with any of my Helena works afterwards, so I'm not sure if he just, ignores them, doesn't care about them if they're not good enough, or if he was just trying to help a fellow Helena fan start off, because I was a small artist, much smaller artist at the time in terms of following, and his retweets definitely helped my art actually get seen by people. So it might have just been his way of like helping a little Helena fan out. And now that the Helena fan's gotten slightly off their start, we're on our own. That might be the case. I don't know. I don't know what he's thinking. He doesn't talk very much. He doesn't post anything on Twitter, really. That's another thing. Is something I've always kind of been scared about is Vane disappearing from the internet. It doesn't seem like that'll happen anytime soon, but he doesn't talk so frequently at all. We never know what he's thinking. And some things have led me to feel like it's possible that he might be the kind of person to just delete everything, disappear. But as of now, that hasn't happened. So I'm happy about that. We always check his Twitter account. Our Twitter bookmark is just a link to his account, actually. It's no longer to Twitter homepage. We just link to his account. If he hasn't posted, then there's clearly nothing worth seeing on Twitter, right? I'm not sure if this kind of behavior is healthy, but it's what I've been doing for the past few months, is essentially idolizing this Vane guy. Idolizing, maybe not, that's not the word, but yes, I look up to him a lot, and I use a lot of his works as reference. I've recently been branching away from using his works as much for reference, because I understand that, yeah, even though he's great as an artist, he's not the end-all, there's still, I wouldn't consider him to be the best artist that I follow or anything, but I think it's mostly about, like, the time frame and the story of his art, like his artist's story that resonates with me most, that makes me follow him so specifically. Because there's people like Chesu out there who's also like really good. Chesu actually started a couple months before me, I believe, based on his old Pixel posts. I don't know if he drew before that, obviously, but in terms of posting, he didn't start posting that much earlier than me. And Chesu is a massive artist now, and he is so well renowned for his OC character, of all things. It's very difficult to become famous with like an OC, because people generally don't care about your OC characters. They only care about the things that you draw for like fan art style, right? Usually that's how it is. I've thought about making an OC character of my own, and I have designs in place and stuff, but I don't have enough to finalize it, and I'm not sure if I will ever finalize it, to be fair. And I don't even know if I like actually want to release them, but I have one in place, and until they're finalized, I will not really make another one. So there's that, I guess, right? But yeah, Chase is another artist that I relatively recently took more notice of. I'd seen his artwork before because he was just that well known, but I didn't really follow along with him until after I had started following along with Baden. Man, talking this much is making my throat kind of hurt, actually. I don't talk this much usually. I just wanted to recap on some stuff. My art journey the past few months. Yeah, we drew a shit ton of helena. We're now fairly well known in the azur community, at least, as far as that goes. We're known as a helena artist by azur people, at least, specifically. And yeah, I mean, at least the Reddit knows me. Some of my posts have been pretty damn well received on the Reddit, which is, I guess, okay. Tired. Talking. I'll take a break from talking. I need a drink of water. Yeah. Art. I always said things like I don't care that much about the following or the attention is nice, obviously, but the main reason I draw is because I think it's fun. That's what I said in the past, and overall, that's pretty much true still. I wanted to bring this up earlier because that's something that kind of felt mentionable. Recently, for like the past month-ish, I haven't been drawing as much as I did all the months prior, I feel, at least. I don't know if that's even true, because I've still been putting out decent art at a consistently decent rate, so I'm not even sure it's true that I haven't been drawing as much, but it feels like it. And I'm not sure if it feels like it and it's not true, then does that just mean I'm like expecting more out of myself than I should? But I do think I've been spending less time drawing overall. And part of me wonders, and part of it is, it's not really that I don't have time, it's just that like I pull out my tablet and I sit there and I don't draw. And it's like, why am I doing that? Do I not want to draw anymore? I still want to draw, as far as I can tell, so why am I just not drawing? And some might say it's burnout, right? That's something I've thought about. Is it burnout? I don't know. And if it is, I may need to take a break from it all. I don't really want to. I don't feel like I want to, at least. It's not like I'm dreading drawing, I just simply don't sometimes. It's like I lost track of how to motivate myself to draw constantly. So maybe it is burnout? I know that burnout is a thing that can affect even the best artists. Like Hyun, I found Hyun through like azur because they did a speed paint with Laffy and posted the video on YouTube, and like I watched the video. Their art's pretty good, it's really cute. Hyun recently tweeted about having gone through some kind of burnout, if I'm not mistaken, so yeah, even the best of those artists can just experience burnout. It's a thing. I'm far from the best, so why would I be any different, right? I don't know. Drawing's weird. I enjoy drawing overall. A lot of the times it's just a thing to do while relaxing, just to like have something to do. And like I get to create a cool product by the end of it. I get to I get to observe pretty artwork. And I get to really just like immerse myself with these beautiful pictures. And then I get to create something of my own that is at least half decent. Even if my art's not that great right now, I'm pretty sure I'm still improving a lot all the time. And so long as we're improving, at least that's something good that's happening. It does feel like I'm leveling out though, like it's getting harder to improve. And I do know certain issues that I like actually need to work on. So anatomy, I have enough anatomy fundamentals that I've been able to get away with it, but it's certainly like not the easiest for me to draw a body from imagination, and I know that's not easy to ever, that's really never going to be easy, but it shouldn't be this hard is what I feel like, right? So I think I need to study more anatomy, do gesture drawings, that sort of thing, right? Bloons has posted a lot of gesture drawings. That man has been super dedicated. I don't know how he has the mental capacity to do it. Damn, he's been so dedicated to learning art, and he's made such significant progress because of it. It's really impressive. And even though I don't believe he's a better artist in terms of drawing skill, I do think he's better than I am at learning. He's definitely put in a lot more effort at properly learning how to draw and do that sort of thing. So I fully expect, yeah, as I said, I expect he'll surpass my ability eventually. I like to see people try to learn to draw. I'm fully willing to like help people out a little bit. I'm not gonna like try to carry them, like teach them fully. If someone wants to draw, I'll help them get started, give them feedback if necessary, give them encouragement, whatever how they want, right? It's just nobody that I actually personally know has ever successfully really started drawing and actually like learned. Justin, one of my close friends, childhood friends essentially, has expressed desires to draw for years now. Like since the very beginning of when I started doing digital art. In fact, before that, we all kind of wanted to draw. I'm the only one out of the group that ended up even really learning, but Justin recently has been putting more effort and time into trying to learn to draw, and so I can commend him for that. Like obviously, he's essentially just a beginner, so his stuff is not good, and that's to be expected. My stuff wasn't good for the longest time, and it still isn't great, it's just okay. But yeah, I can commend that he's starting to at least try. I just kind of not really sure how to like his art style. Like stuff that he's going for just doesn't seem like what I would at all be interested in seeing, which is unfortunate. He's got a lot of ways to go for sure, but if he has the motivation to actually learn, he'll improve. I don't know if I can say he's really improved much. It's not super noticeable yet. It's because he doesn't put out any drawings, so you don't get to see any change between them. Yeah. I hope we'll be able to see more change, but that's assuming he continues to draw. He kind of has issues when it comes to motivation and actually drawing. And that's about what's been going on there. How do I shape this? Okay, I'm going to need to put a little bit of shape underneath this button, like right here. Then if I'm not mistaken, I probably should put like a whole extra layer beneath the sleeve because this entire sleeve is going to have a darkish cast on the part below. We can do that another one. This init shade is just for defining borders and edges, which we have done, I think. Yeah, sometimes you just gotta trust in the process. I've learned that multiple times now, where I just start drawing something, I feel like it doesn't look good, and then I keep working on it, and it turns out fine. The most recent, obviously. So here's this thing. I'll open up the clip file actually. I did this Nia drawing, right? This is, you can see my original Blade Nia from last year, the one that I streamed, was internally referred to as Blade Dance, but the actual product clearly wasn't dancing
of any kind. She was just sitting there. This is more along the lines of what I was imagining when I was trying to draw that, and I couldn't because I was just incapable of doing the pose, incapable of just thinking of how to put this picture together. Evidently I'm capable of it now because I did this, but when I was in the middle of it, when I just had like base colors and the init shade, I thought this was not going to turn out good. I thought this piece just looked bad and it was just going to be bad, and I was just kind of like sad. But damn, like I think it looks pretty nice for something made by me, by my own standards. This is good. And it's the most recent drawing that I've completed. So even though I don't currently think this piece looks great, I kind of feel like I need to trust in the process. That if I give it time, give it all the work that it needs, and go through the steps that I've gone through so many times, trust that it will turn out fine. So we'll see. We'll see.
What was I gonna talk about next? Let's Vane. He's not posted a lot of Helena recently. He hasn't posted a lot at all recently. And a decent number of his recent drawings are all Genshin Impact. Genshin Impact. I guess we're on that topic, huh? Obviously, if you're able to see this stream, which only I can, you know that I'm still playing Genshin Impact pretty consistently, and yeah, I haven't done many Genshin drawings, and I don't really know if I want to, just out of like feeling of I don't want to support this game more than necessary. I feel like I shouldn't even be playing it anymore, but it's so hard to break out of this habit. I don't know why. I managed to break out of it last semester, but then over break I just came back and played it, and now I'm back into it. So, good old me. Genshin Impact art. It's good stuff. The stuff that Vane draws, it's always good. Hi. Alright, let's get initial shades on the white. Probably gonna use more grayish tones on this one. As I was mentioning that I might have some kind of burnout. Recently, I have several theories as to why this burnout might exist. Why I might feel like not drawing as much as I used to. And one of them is, for the longest time, as I mentioned, my motivation kind of was just vain, right? And like being noticed by the man or that sort of thing. And I was noticed, as I mentioned, also a couple of times initially, but I haven't really been at all in recent times, as far as I'm aware at least. At some point I kind of told myself, no longer are we trying to get Vane's attention, right? Let's just do our own thing. And after that, I'm not sure if that was the thing, but like that was right around the time that I started to stop losing. I started to stop having the same motivation drive as I did before to draw as much as I did. And so I wonder, like, yeah, Vane kind of was the reason I pushed myself so hard for so long. So if I no longer am seeking his approval, then I guess I'm not seeking anybody's approval. My recent drawings have done pretty damn well for my standards on Twitter. So evidently, other people's approval doesn't mean as much to me. Like, it wasn't enough motivation in particular. It didn't do anything to spur me into wanting to draw more, right?
it was, I guess, vain. And so now if I'm not looking for Vane's approval, do I just not have any motivations anymore? I thought when I was drawing Xenoblade stuff, I thought maybe it was because I wasn't drawing Helena, because Helena was another reason I was drawing so much, right? And then I started doing this drawing. If you'd believe it, this drawing is about 4 or 5 days old now. We've started this for a decent bit of time, and just a few months ago, 5 days into a drawing would have been about finished, and we're just now starting to do renders. So even though I have been drawing, I have not been drawing at the same rate as I used to, and even when it's Helena, I'm not doing the same. I don't know. So was it really all Vane that made me want to draw? I'm not gonna decide. Like, I already decided I don't need his approval. I don't think I want to just change my mind about that, because honestly, it is kind of it is a childish thing to just seek out the approval of like someone specific, especially if they don't know you and they have no reason to care. It just isn't. It's not conducive to like a sustainable, healthy sort of work rhythm, I feel. So I think it's a good idea to not, but I just need to find like something else to motivate me, maybe something else to drive me as an artist. And what could that be? Self-improvement obviously isn't enough, because you know, every artist wants to improve, but precious few are actually able to. It's not an easy skill to be able to force yourself to keep learning and improving, because it is work. It involves being critical of yourself, seeking out feedback, and really just putting in that effort. It's not easy. I know this because I've gone through it a lot recently, but I feel like I haven't been doing it so much recently because, as I mentioned, less motivation feeling to draw. I don't know why. Yeah, that's just it. Alpo, I wanted to mention earlier as well, talking through all of the original reasons why I started to draw and like take drawing seriously, talking through that entire timeline. I feel like that actually helped a little bit. It reminded me like of my original goals, my original everything. And so I'm not sure if we'll see a change right now, but I do feel good about it. I guess I feel better for having talked about that. Whew. My throat still burns. I was somehow more expressive last year in the Blade Media stream. I definitely am not as expressive right now as I was that time. It's whatever though. How did Vane do this part? See, I still use like all of Vane's artwork as general references for a lot of things, because he's drawn so many types of outfits that there just is a reference for a lot of things that I'm trying to do. And I have said I'm trying to avoid doing it as much, but I don't know. I've gotten this far thanks to Vane, pretty much, so I'm grateful to the man. He's been a very good source for me to try pulling any kind of learning from, because this stuff's just solid. It's, as I always say this, it's pretty simple in concept. Like, it's like this comprehensible type of work. I look at it and I can approximately figure out how he constructed things and why things are being done. But it's still just done so well. It's simple and effective. So it's like, the terminology I use is complexity in simplicity, in the sense that it's simple, sure, but it's constructed in a complex manner to the point where that simplicity is essentially not noticeable. It's just really well done for the most part. I don't know how he learned it, because I don't think he had formal education as an artist. And yeah, I didn't either, but I don't know how to do that, and I wouldn't have been able to learn it on my own, I don't think. I've only been able to learn most of all my stuff by observing his work. And yeah, observation. That's possibly how that's what he said, is that he observed better artists a lot, watching them do drawings on Twitch or just speed paints, that sort of thing. I haven't really done that a whole lot. I don't watch artists, generally speaking. So maybe that was a mistake. I don't really have a lot of artists that I actually know that I want to watch, though. I haven't looked for them either. So yeah, there's several differences in that kind of factor that might have played into it all. But yeah, after I started taking art more seriously, I definitely have been observing art a lot more closely, trying to pick out, why does this look good? How did they do this? Or also, why does this not look good in some cases? Because yeah, not every art piece out there looks good. But why? Because sometimes it might look technically fine, might be something that I'd like. Yeah, like the technique used to shade and render all this is good. So why is it not as appealing? Being able to pick that out on other people's art helps me to be able to pick it out on my own art as well. At least I think so. Like this piece right now, I kind of feel like something's wrong with this eye, and I'll go try to work on it and fix it another time. Right now we're not focused on that, but yeah. This piece currently has some issues that I feel don't look great to me, so I'll be spending time trying to figure those out as well, of course. This fluffy part is gotta be shaded differently than the rest of the clothing for the most part, I think. Because it's the texture of it. That's another thing. In the past, I didn't really pay attention to the surface materials when I was shading stuff. I just kind of shaded things in the same way. And so maybe you could say everything started to look really like smooth because of that, because everything was shaded like hair. Because hair was the only thing I was confident about my shading with, so I used the same techniques on everything. And so yeah, you get like really smooth looking everything, and it just wasn't good. I paid more attention to surfaces and textures of stuff that you're shading in order to convey it properly, and I think that's made a bit of a difference. No, this looks terrible. Honestly, we might rework this entire thing later if I'm still unsatisfied with it. Initial shade is meant to define these kinds of things more than the texture. The texture should be defined by another layer later. So I guess we should probably talk a little bit about our life as well, outside of drawing, inside of video games, whatnot. I am still in college. This is our last semester as a senior, and as far as I'm aware, it will be our last semester of college, at least for the time being. Depends on if I ever come back for the Joe Masters, but I have a job lined up with Amazon. So, as soon as I'm out of here, I'm out of here. Amazon is a great place to work in terms of experience and prestige. Yeah, it's wow, I cannot believe I got a job at Amazon, honestly, but I did. I did. But yeah, I'm expecting it to be hell. It's probably not going to be fun at all. God, I don't know.
I don't like Amazon a ton as a company either, but it's a place to work, and I have to work for some company, right? So might as well work for one that will be good for me in the long run. I might decide I don't like Amazon at some point and want to leave, but with the experience that I gained there, with like the name and the prestige, it should be a lot easier to find a job the second time around. And I could probably get away with just about anywhere I want at that point, which would be great. We'll see. That's far in the future. We still haven't even started working at Amazon. We're already thinking of leaving it. It's also almost Lunar New Year. I'm gonna be heading. I'm at the apartment right now with my friends Bryce and Adam. I'll be heading home probably this weekend to go celebrate the Lunar New Year with family. I really appreciate my family a lot. All of them. My parents are great, my sisters are great. I don't know. I probably don't say this often enough, but I really do appreciate the just general like presence. And, I honestly think I won when it comes to the families. I have basically no issues with my family. I think they're just all fantastic people. Yeah, I'm not gonna say I've never had gripes with them, or I've never argued with them, or had kind of conflicts, but we've resolved them, and I think in its current state, my family is just perfect for what I needed as a healing for my life, for my mental state. The science of well-being. So my dad told me that he'd recently been taking this Coursera online course called, the Science of Well-Being, supposedly like MIT, not MIT, Yale, I think, or Stanford, some place, Yale probably, had research done about, well-being and people's mental health, that sort of shit, what sort of behaviors lead to good mental health typically, or help prevent depression, etc., right? That kind of stuff. And yeah, from what my dad's told me, a lot of the findings should be common sense, but it is still like confirmation that these things work, I guess. He sent me the link to the course itself. It sounds like it's not very much work, it's not very demanding to like participate in, so I might take that just to kind of see what's up. I'm not sure I have the best mental health, really. I wouldn't say I'm depressed, but I can't diagnose that. But frequently I do feel a lot of like I'm a failure, like I'm just not worth it. Like, why am I here? Why would people care about me? What am I doing? What's the point? Sometimes I feel that way. I don't know. Wrinkles. I hate doing wrinkles. Wrinkles are so annoying to do. It is 12:37 in the midnight, so it's pretty late. I should probably be getting to sleep soon, But I have enjoyed talking so far. I've enjoyed this. It's been good. Even if it's not to anybody. Having that avenue in which to speak my mind is just good. One day I'll probably listen back on this too. We'll see. Right? You from the future. What's changed? How's everything now? I hope you're doing well. I hope you're doing well, man. I'm doing okay. I'm alive, certainly. I hope you'll be alive too, Lamar. Yeah. It's just kind of I don't know. Vane, how did you get so good at art? Still can't get over this man's artwork. I literally look at it on a daily basis. Every single time that I draw, I probably pull it up for reference. And I draw. I've drawn almost every day for the past 7 months. Legitimately almost every day. Even when I probably shouldn't be drawing. Like right now, that brings me up to another thing I should talk about. The thesis project. I've probably mentioned this several times, like Genshin streams, because, you know, it is a pretty big thing that I'm supposed to be doing. I haven't done, like, actually anything really for the project. I would venture to say 95%, if not more, has legitimately been all of my partner Josh's work. He has done and carried our ass for almost everything so far. And the thing is, I don't feel like we've even done very much, but he has done pretty much everything there has been needed to be done. And that means like scheduling appointments with advisors, supervisors, people to talk to, getting the lab space rented out, not rented, like borrowing it, getting all of our venues set up, buying the equipment, connecting with potential candidates to participate in our project. Like literally, oh yeah, and most of the code, and like researching what kind of code we would need to do or use to control our apparatus and that sort of stuff. He has done almost everything. I'm not joking. What have I done? I have written some really shitty code, and that's about it. I have done like the very bare minimum of what it takes to be considered like participating in this project, I would say. I'm sure like almost anybody who's like aware of this project barely even knows of my existence, because I haven't tried to talk to anybody. And I'm aware of this, but it's just so hard to make myself do anything. I do still wish very much so that I quit Barrett, but I just dropped out of it so I didn't have to deal with this final project, because I don't want to do it at all. It very much is like a big thing that's just loomed over me, but I don't want to actually do it. I don't know. Where tomorrow, actually it's today because it's past midnight, we're scheduled to go tour the Desert Financial Arena or something. I think it's like some basketball or some kind of court at ASU, because yeah, Josh is thinking about using that as our performance venue. I don't know how Josh has the balls to just kind of ask people for stuff. Like, how do you do that? Josh is probably going to go far in life. He's a good connection to have, but I'm not sure I'm worth anything to him. Well, no. I feel like Josh thinks higher of me than I deserve as like a whole. What have I done? I haven't done anything to deserve this. I just don't get it. I've historically done some stuff, but I have not really done anything for this project in recent time. Yeah. And since I'm aware of this, you would think this would spur me to actually like try and do stuff for the project, right? It probably will not if I am not explicitly being pestered to do it. There's something actually I've been assigned to do recently, which is write some kind of thing that should be able to scrape lyrics from our website, because our project involves performance stuff. We're probably going to use music, and we wanted to write some like AI code. Well, he wanted to use an AI library he found to generate some visuals to go alongside lyrics for the songs that were chosen. But there's no
apparently the Spotify API doesn't provide the lyrics for songs for some reason. It provides a hell of a ton of information, but it doesn't provide lyrics of all things. I don't know. So he wanted me to write something that could go on the websites that have lyrics and scrape the lyrics plus timestamps. I haven't looked into doing that yet. I have never written something to scrape code scrape text from a website either, so I have no experience in this. This probably will not be an easy task for me to finish. And here I am doing nothing for it. I'm just drawing. Bruh. I don't know. It's hard. It shouldn't be this hard, but it just is. For me. I'm sorry, Josh, for being a fucking worthless partner. I really feel bad about this, but I also don't feel bad enough to do something about it, you know? Working on a project thing, bringing that up, reminds me the other projects that I'm a part of, the goat and sheep simulator thing. God, that project. So what I've done is I've volunteered to make like the art, the sprites for the project, because I don't really know what we're supposed to be coding. It sounds like Mark, our team member Mark, has most all the coding implementation ideas down, and we just need to actually implement it, but I have no fucking clue how to work the code that he's written so far, so I just haven't bothered. Yeah, so I volunteered to do the art, which by that standards I'm just doing like pixel art probably for goats and sheep. It doesn't need to be super great as far as I'm aware. I hope they don't have any expectations for it really, but that's essentially what's up with that project. I haven't started on the art, as you'd imagine. I don't do anything. Right, okay, we got that. Was I going to talk about anything else? I mentioned COVID in the Blade Nia stream, right? That's actually something to mention right now, because it is as bad, it's actually worse than it's ever been, arguably. COVID is, there's a new variant called Omicron now. God, that's like apparently extremely transmissive. And guess what? Our ASU classes are still in person. I don't get it. How are we going to ever be out of this pandemic? We're not. Because, like, the preventative measures that are necessary are never being taken because we're a free country. Oh, we can't actually tell people to not be a fucking dumbass and stay inside. We just have to like suggest it nicely and hope people listen. Like, you know, no one's gonna listen. This country is full of dumbasses. So yeah, our pandemic is never gonna end. It's only gonna get worse too. I hope they don't think that like, oh, we're just gonna let everyone get infected and then we'll have herd immunity, right? Bitch. So, herd immunity will not work because this virus mutates. It's Omicron, it's already a mutation. We already know it mutates, right? So even if every single person got it, because of that kind of pool, like how many people are getting it, that significantly increases the chance and allows for mutations to occur. So we're gonna get a mutation if everyone gets it, and this mutation is gonna be like able to bypass the antibodies from the previous variant. So that one's just gonna spread, and then we're just gonna have it all over again. It's not going to herd immunity will not happen, even if every single person in the U.S. gets it right now. Like it just will not happen. And I don't know. I don't know what they expect. I feel like they just don't have an actual good plan. What is the plan? Just fucking shut everything down and just shut it down and don't let people go outside. Oh no, we're turning into China. Bitch, China got rid of this shit in like a month. Is that really so bad then? Is it really so much worse? Oh my god, they're so oppressive, but people get to go back to living their normal lives after a month of COVID. Meanwhile, this US, we gotta pretend like it's normal while people die left and right from COVID preventable cases. Like, what do you want? Do you really just... Oh my god. That's kind of what I think recently. I don't know. COVID's gonna fuck over our lives forever. It's never going away. I don't expect it to. It's just like the flu now at this point, thanks to all the mutations that these Americans have enabled. Talking. Last time when I streamed, I talked about Toho Lost Word. I talked about gacha games. I actually have some news on that then to talk about as well. So, in terms of gachas, I have historically played 4 of them, which is Fire Emblem Heroes. Well, okay, do we count Food Fantasy? Food Fantasy, Azur Lane, Genshin Impact, right? That's 4. So, those are the 4 gachas I had historically played. Heroes was the very first one, and I guess I pretty much quit Heroes at this point, surprisingly enough. I did not expect to quit Heroes. Like, that was not the one I expected to quit, really, ever, because Fire Emblem. But, what happened is, the recent update for the game requires a version of iOS that my phone cannot support. So I can't play it on my phone anymore. I can play it on BlueStacks, I've tried. That's where I play Azur from. The problem is, I don't like clicking so much, and Fire Emblem Heroes requires significantly more inputs than Azur. Azur is mostly auto battle, and if you do control the game, you can use the keyboard for it, which is actually really handy. Fire Emblem requires actual clicks to just place units on the map, right? And there's not really a good way to bind the keyboard to do the same thing. That's not that I'm aware of. So I already bound the keyboard to do certain buttons like auto battle fast, so I don't have to click for all of the buttons, but it's just generally if you're not doing auto battle, you have to click them on. That's just a pain. So I haven't felt like I wanted to play that game in a while. And honestly, I think it's a good thing that I've essentially gotten out of Fire Emblem Heroes. Obviously, Food Fantasy I never really played. If we count Lost Word, that's 5. I don't know if we count Food Fantasy to begin with, well. But I'm still very devoted to playing Azur, and somehow I don't think I've really gotten all that tired of the game. It doesn't require a ton of effort, it's just kind of a thing that you can run in the background while eating, or I could just start running it right now while I'm drawing and it wouldn't interfere really because it doesn't require a ton of attention or button presses. You just kind of set the girls to do stuff and then they'll finish after 5 to 10 minutes, however long the content happens to be. And it's very relaxed in that manner. It doesn't consume a ton of active time or attention. So I can appreciate that. And the thing that I obviously appreciate most from it is the artwork. it still has very nice artwork. It's some of the prettiest stuff I've seen. I really like animating those. So like even though not most of the art is not like Helena, there's very little Helena art actually. They still haven't given her a new skin. I still can appreciate the other girls, you know, getting at least the art's pretty, and it tends to be a good way to generate more ideas for myself, so that I can actually draw good Helenas myself, right? Because if they won't do it, I'll do it. That's kind of the other motto. Besides the if he could do it, then I can also do it. It's also the if no one else is gonna do it, then I'll do it myself. Azur artists. That was the original sentiment I held when I was starting out drawing, except I was thinking about Elise when I thought that. And well, obviously I don't draw Elise anymore, like ever. I've drawn her birthday every single year so far, so like at least I haven't missed that, but I don't actively draw Elise really ever. Once again, her birthday is coming up, so I will almost certainly do something for it again this year. It's just, yeah. Elise is no longer the character that drives us to draw, but she's still a character that is dear to me, so I'll do it. That kind of drawing as a gesture. Hi. Throat hurts. Talking so much really does burn your throat. God. How's this done? That makes sense. Yeah, besides the Vayne art, there is one picture that I've been using pretty heavily for reference. In fact, this entire outfit and everything is pretty much stolen from that. The idea was mine, and then I found a picture that was basically my idea. So I'm just like, okay, okay, I will just borrow everything. I didn't trace it, I drew it myself. I just simply borrowing almost every significant aspect from it, right? That should be okay. I think. I don't know. Sometimes I'm not sure. Like, am I referencing too hard? Is that a thing? Because like I'm not tracing stuff. I'm just simply referencing it to the point where it's like you could probably tell if you saw them side by side that one of them was derived from the other, right? Maybe. I'm not even sure if that is true. I just personally feel like it is, but I'd never had anybody come up to me and say like, your artwork looks a lot like this, outside of people who say your art reminds them of Vayne. And the only reason they say that is because I'm drawing Helena. No one would say that if I never drew Helena, right? No one would ever say that. Because my art style, while I try to borrow a lot from Vayne, it's not that similar. It's just similar enough if you're drawing like the exact same character that you might see the connection. That's what I think at least. I always talk about that complexity and simplicity stuff with Vayne's artwork. I've been trying to learn that, but I'm obviously not successful. Most of the shit I draw is still way too much complex, like, line brush work, and the effect that I achieve is still mediocre. It's like, I just don't understand how Vayne can be so efficient with everything. Like, what the fuck did I just do? These strokes didn't convey anything. I was trying to do something clearly, but it didn't work. I feel like I should be leaving this wrinkly stuff for the surfacer layers, but I can start trying to get something out for it. Yeah, I'll leave this for surfacing. Let's get rid of this. At most we can keep a couple of the crinkles on the centerpiece, but we don't need explicit defined wrinkles here yet. Okay. So once we get that out of the way, I'm just trying to give a little definition to where her boobas would be, because it's not going to be visible, but this should be darker below them, right? I'm just trying to think of it as a three-dimensional object. I think I've gotten better at thinking of these things as 3D objects when it comes to like drawing it. Better, not good, but just better. Alright, water break. Because my throat burns. I will say, another thing is, I mentioned this in the other stream too. Anytime I stream my art, I tend to work very consistently. I don't get distracted all that much. I just kind of keep going. So far that's been pretty true. That doesn't mean I made a ton of progress, but I think initial shades should mostly be done by the end of the session. At least, right? Well, what else do we have initial shading on? The purple hair, this skirt lower thing. A little bit. I'm not tired really. But it is late, so I do need to get to sleep. I have unfortunately not fixed my sleep schedule. It was fixed last semester, if you remember. Actually, I don't know if you do, because the stream was before that. But no, yeah, last semester my sleep schedule was fixed for like almost the entire duration of it, and the only point where it got fucked up again was the very end, right as we were transitioning into break. And then yeah, break just kind of reinforced it. I continued to not sleep properly at times during break, and here we are. The semester started. It's 2-3 weeks in, I think. I don't even know. It's a pretty good amount of time in now, and we are still with a fucked up sleep schedule. I really should fix it, but man, here I am drawing at 1 AM. And I don't know. I haven't drawn this hard, I feel, in a while, and I don't want to stop. I still really like drawing, okay? Drawing is just something I really do enjoy doing. And I feel bad when I don't do it as much as I want. At least I believe I want. Okay, I should try to put a wrinkle here. Oh yeah, we can get away with this. So yeah, that kind of thing should almost simulate like it's a wrinkle. I think. I'm not sure. Certain significant changes in the way that I do art. One thing is, yeah, I actually modify these settings as I need them while I work. In the past, I pretty much would create the brush and just use it as is, and I almost never change any of the settings. But now, I pretty much know how to make a brush work how I want it to work, so I just do that. And then also my layers, I now do this kind of folder for shading, and I gather all the shades, at least all these kinds of shades, in a singular folder group, because that lets them not stack on top of each other. Otherwise they would typically, like, oh, if you put the shade here and then you overlaid another shading layer, it would be twice as dark. Now, these are all just normal, so they blend into each other and then create one full shade, which has like a limit to how dark it can be because of the way that you combine them, right? That's how I've been doing it, and I think it's more consistent. So I have no issues with it, really. I like it, at least. I'm not sure I managed to do this right. I think I know why. Yeah, we're just gonna... So, what we need to do here is this. Yeah, something like that. Essentially our goal is to make it look like it's... Fuck. Fuck. Okay. No. I understand now what I'm supposed to try to do. We're making it like frills, almost. Not frills, I don't know how to... Essentially, this part here overlaps with some cloth, and this part is like also overlapping cloth, and this part in the middle is lower beneath it. So we need to angle these sides at the top in appropriate ways to balance that out. I said fuck earlier because it was not in a way that was conducive to being angled. Did I just do it again? How do I... What? What? Wait, I flipped it, so it should be fine now. I don't get it. How did I mess that up again? Okay, we're gonna... One sec. Instead of starting it on two sides, I'm just gonna start it on this side. Clothing wrinkles is still not something I'm very good at. I did a stream, not on YouTube, it was on Twitch, and I probably muted myself so there's no records of me talking. But during Sketchtember, the 20th day, Smile, I used this as my Twitter profile picture for a while. But during that was the stream where that was the Sketchtember where I put a lot of effort into one day's sketch. It wasn't really a sketch, it was a full piece. I was drawing for about 8 hours straight, I think. I was only streaming for the last 4 or so hours, maybe 3. But yeah, I just, during that stream, I started the stream up and then I started doing clothing wrinkles, and like the first hour and a half was just me trying to fucking do wrinkles on us. Basic ass wrinkles too, for the shirt. I legitimately spent like an hour and a half trying to do wrinkles for the shirt, and they didn't even look good. Wrinkles are a pain. I am really bad at doing wrinkles. I'm still not good at it. I've gotten better, probably. It doesn't take as long anymore, at least. But damn, wrinkles really do still fuck me over a lot. And I'm not proud to admit that. I should have... I don't know how to study wrinkles, though, is the thing. 'Cause I can study the anatomy of like a human, right? Do I just look at wrinkly clothes and try to draw it? Again, I mean, that makes sense, right? But that's what I do. That's what I've been doing. When I try to draw wrinkles, I am looking at pictures of wrinkly outfits and stuff, and I just can't do it. Yeah, it's just not a thing that I'm able to do. What happened? These aren't even really wrinkles, these are just creases. They shouldn't even be hard. So we'll see. I'm not even sure that's what I want them to be anymore. Get away with just doing this. Very cheap wrinkles. Come on, just do efficiency. Efficiency and effectiveness. I don't know if that's. I don't really know if that's good, but it's not the most important part of the drawing. It's pretty unnoticeable down here, actually. I think we'll just call it fine for now. Don't want to spend too long on this unnoticeable aspect of the drawing. Oh yeah, that reminds me also, when I was watching the Blatnia drawing, I realized I don't flip the canvas. But now, I bound the flip canvas keys at some point last year, and I've been using them so much. I flip the canvas like every other line I draw pretty much. It's kind of funny actually. It's useful. It helps. Definitely helps. There's so many drawings that I look back on now and I'm like, how did I think this was acceptable? Probably because I never flipped the canvas. Because yeah, flipping the canvas will help you notice problems. Honestly, I think as an artist you should just flip the canvas. Just do it. It will probably help you. Unironically, it will probably help. It's up to you, obviously, your method of working, but I think it's a very useful tool, and if you're doing digital art, you might as well take advantage of it. Okay, this is the texture that I want to go for, probably. We're just going to do edge textures for now. I'll do surfacing layers later. Yeah, this I did a fluffy thing for the Santa Helena drawing, and that's basically how we've got it when I'm doing it. So I'll probably do something similar for these. Let's see. Let's make sure all the shadows are consistent between the different surfaces. I feel like the eye might be too big still. We'll mess around with that later. This stream will end when I'm done with all the initial shades, I think. So what do we have left? The cup needs it. So here's another sort of new methodology that we've learned. Is to do this now. We can put all of our shades for this entire group of layers on one layer. Sorry, excuse me. That is learned from Naoki Saito. Naoki Saito taught us this. Man, I didn't mention this yet. Naoki Saito, right? He's a really great artist, and I've talked about how he's got some great guides on YouTube that he's been very helpful for us learning. He does NFTs. Were NFTs a thing when I did the Blatnia stream? I don't remember honestly. But yeah, NFTs are a thing now, and they're a pain in the ass. I really hate that they are a thing. But there's nothing I can do about it except choose not to participate at least, right? Non-fungible tokens. It's a really big scam that a lot of artists are either getting pulled into or taking part in willingly because they just want money. And as a whole, it's just like one of those cryptocurrency bullshit things. So cryptocurrency, in years past, I was not like against it as a whole. I wasn't a proponent necessarily, but I believed that there was potential for it to be used for good in the past. As of now, based on the type of people who use it and based on what it's been used for, I just don't think it's good. The only way it could probably become better is if it is like regulated, and that defeats the purpose. The whole purpose of crypto was to be this like blockchain, right? It's run by the people for the people. So if we allow the government to regulate it, isn't that straight up what blockchain crypto shit was trying to avoid? So if that's the case, then why do we need the blockchain to begin with if we're just going to let the government regulate it, right? And it needs to be regulated, otherwise it's going to be used for all this bullshit. It's such a massive waste of energy. So that's like the environmental impact it has, but it's also mostly used for like fucking like illegal trades and that sort of like garbage. It's so... The potential it had is not being used in the way that it was originally intended. It is being abused to get money by grifters and like con men, and like NFTs are just one of the more latest versions of this bullshit happening. Okay, Saito does NFTs, but the thing is, I'm not sure if I don't know him personally, obviously. I don't really know how much he knows about NFTs, because they're not marketed as a scam, obviously. But they are a scam, you know. They're obviously not marketed as one, and so there's a very good chance that there's people getting into it who don't necessarily know all of the actual impacts of it. I can't imagine Naoki Saito is like a computer expert of any kind, you know, because he is more of an artist. I am unique in the sense that I am a computer engineer who is also an artist. I'm actually good at both, relatively speaking. I don't know very many artistic engineers out there, ironically enough, as engineers need to be creative with their solutions, don't they? But I really don't know creative engineers. There's not really many of them, I feel. Maybe there's more than I give credit for, but yeah, I'm like a computer nerd to some degree, but I really also just do art. And I think I do it pretty decently, at least. Sure, room for improvement always. I'm never gonna say that there isn't, but at least I am happier with my art than I've pretty much ever been, arguably. Like, I believe that what I can make now is actually not bad. I just want to be even better. Always. In the past, I don't know if I actually believed what my art was actually good. I feel like maybe I did, based on how I talked during the Blade Nia stream. But, I certainly realized now how much room I've got to grow, but also just how much I have grown since the past. So yeah, I think like if I never grew any further as an artist from this point onwards, wouldn't be happy, but I guess I wouldn't be the most disappointed, because at least the stuff we make isn't fucking grotesque anymore. It actually is pretty well received and well liked by many people. That's more than I honestly ever expected to have. So I'm happy about that. Damburu actually. So I don't know if this was Blade Nia was before this. So Damburu is that image board site that's like an archive of a lot of old artwork, as well as just, you know, general artwork gets posted, and they have the quality control and all that shit. My Aya drawing was the very first drawing that got posted to Damburu. And since then, I think I have, in terms of post count, there's, I think, 17 drawings on there by me. but like some of them are duplicate sort of ones. Like there's ones that are just like variants, like glasses, no glasses, where one of them is the difference, and it's otherwise the same drawing on top. I wouldn't consider those separate drawings, right? But I have a number of posts on Damburu now. I never uploaded my own stuff there. I will not upload my own stuff there because self-uploads are discouraged, and I'm not gonna do it. If my art's good, someone else will do it for me. If it's not good and no one does it, then it just wasn't good enough, and I'll take it. You know, take it as is. But yeah, getting my artwork uploaded to Damburu is, while it's not like the most indicative of quality, it is indicative of some kind of quality at least. Because like I've seen pretty dog shit art on Damburu too, but I would say that if someone took the time to upload my shit to Damburu, at least someone out there can appreciate what I've drawn and thinks it's worth preserving, and I appreciate that. I'm pretty grateful for all the people who've done their part in uploading my shit. I personally don't upload much to Damburu. I almost only upload Vane art. I used to upload Helena's, but there's not a lot of Helena art. I pretty much combed the entire internet for all the Helena art that there was, and I uploaded what I felt was worth uploading, because they're quality control, as I mentioned. So it has to be like decent enough. And so after I went through that initial combing, there wasn't really anything else to upload for Helena. Vane hasn't been drawing Helena all that much recently. Well, he hasn't been drawing all that much to begin with recently. Man, my throat hurts again. Water. Yeah, that's good though. Talking, because I seclude myself so much, I don't talk a ton, so yeah, my vocal cords, my general voice, are probably a lot more subdued and like unused relative to what they should be. So if I do this more, I'll probably talk. Not as much maybe, but I will talk, just to keep myself active and alive, you know? That's kind of what I'm thinking. We also need to exercise. I have not been keeping up with my workout routine at all this entire semester. I've done like one workout. I need to at least do it once a week. I think 3 times a week is the real minimum, but hey, if I'm not even doing one a week, how am I gonna do 3? I don't know, man. Oh yeah, the music in the background is Terraria Calamity OST. I have about 5 games that I listen to the music of, and then Toho Gensokyo Radio. So I'll listen to Xenoblade X. Xenoblade X has some banger soundtrack. I mentioned it in the Played Nia stream, but I think at the time I mostly only listened to the area themes. I have taken to listening through the entire soundtrack in full, every single song, and it's pretty good. There are so many good songs in that entire soundtrack. It's not just the area themes. And then, Xenoblade 2. I'll also listen to Xenoblade 1, but not as frequently as X or 2. I'll listen to, as I mentioned, Terraria Calamity OST, the Bravely Default OST, and then, I mean, those are the ones I listen to most frequently. Sometimes I'll go through the Toho playlists, Cafe de Toho, etc. And Gensokyo Radio is the one that I put on when I don't feel like selecting songs. So like, I pretty much always listen to the same few songs, but the reason for that is, for one, I don't really get tired of them, and 2, these songs playlists have a set length because they're the same songs always. And so if I play that playlist and I draw for the entire duration of it, I approximately know how long I've been drawing. It's a way for me to gauge like a start-stop period and that sort of thing. Like most of the Xenoblade X discs are between 45 minutes to an hour. While Terraria Calamity OST is 3 hours in total. Bravely Default is also about 3 hours. It's 2 hours 40 something, I think. It's a little shorter. And then like Xenoblade 2, each of those discs is about 40 minutes also. And there's 6 of them. Actually there's 7, but the 7th one is like bonus songs, not really like the actual OST. It's part of the OST, but it's not like songs. It's like the area found theme or whatever. Yeah, you know, that sort of stuff. Like, I know the approximate length of almost all these playlists that I play through. And so that's pretty much why I use those. Wait a minute. It is shade. We're almost done with all the shading, I think. Actually, we don't need to gather for this. Excuse me. I had a really jank dinner earlier. My parents bring me food on the weekends, right? They brought me noodles, pre-cooked, and it has like meat and vegetable in it. Like, they brought me that. That alone would have been fine as a meal, but they also brought me ropa vieja, and I personally also cooked some vegetables. Since I'm going home on Saturday, I need to finish all the food. And so I ate these noodles that would have been fine on their own with more stuff on it. It tasted fine. All the stuff alone tastes fine, so there's no reason it would taste bad together. It's just, it was pretty jank. It's not a meal that I would typically have, and I probably won't have it again anytime soon. But it was fine. Okay, by anytime soon I mean after tomorrow, because I still have some of each left, and I'm gonna finish it for dinner tomorrow. So yes, I'll have it again tomorrow. I'm trying to figure out the right color. Sometimes I think I've gotten a lot better at picking out colors, right, for this stuff. I don't think I would have ever chosen pink to shade something brown. Pink? That's such a weird choice, isn't it? But it works. Doesn't it look fine? I think it looks fine. In fact, I'm not sure any other color really would have been better. I'm gonna, one sec. Let's take this, and then let's try, like, I don't know, blue. That looks really, really black. Red? I don't think that looks okay, but it's pretty much almost the same as pink, right? It's like different. The pink one's warmer, I think. Yeah, I don't think I'd ever choose green. Green just looks ugly. Green's like a terrible color for shading. But that's not strictly true, actually. I've seen pictures that use green very effectively when they're shading with it. So one sec, how did Vane do that? Okay, so I may have spoken too positively about that color. Or maybe I'm just a dipshit and I should just follow my heart instead of copying Vane. I don't know. Whatever. It's like, I feel like something looks fine, and then I compare it to Vane, and I'm like, okay, I need to change it so that it's more like Vane. But do I? Do I actually? I would say in most cases, probably not. But I've gotten so accustomed to doing that, it's just second nature to immediately change it to match his more. And like, it won't look bad, it's just, if I didn't need to, maybe I should keep it, because it's my own in that way. It's a little bit more of my own work. Since it probably would have looked fine either way, right? I don't know. The way Vane does metal is not the way that I would do metal. I'll say that. So I don't copy him there. His metals are very, like, orange. The golden stuff I'm talking about. Oh, I also been playing bloons recently. You know what? After I stop drawing, I'm gonna go through all the daily shit that I do, and I'll stream that too. I'll keep that as a part of this stream, just to show this garbage daily bullshit that I go through for every single day because of all the gotchas and whatever games that I happen to play actively. Maybe not everything. I probably won't do Genshin because I already streamed to Genshin earlier. Just all this stuff, other stuff. Are we gonna cast a shadow on her head? I think we should. Gotta start. I've been thinking of, yeah, continuity of shadows and actually, like, what's it? Framing. What's the composition? That's what I was gonna say. Composition, that sort of stuff. I've been thinking about that way more, and it's all thanks to Naoki Saito, actually. Naoki Saito is the one who kind of introduced me to really thinking about composition and really making sure that's like a part of the process when you think about how to construct a piece as a whole. In the past, I didn't want to delete, I didn't want to like cover up stuff that I drew, so I would show the whole full body, and then it's like compositionally probably pretty dog shit, you know? You don't typically need to show the full body, and in fact you don't want to in a lot of cases because like you don't need to. If you want to focus on the character, you probably want the face to be important, so you don't need to show everything else around it. It depends on what you're trying to focus, of course, but yeah, character art doesn't need to show the entire body, nor does it need to even show the entire head as long as you're showing the face. You can cover up the top of the head. Like here, this part can probably get cut out just fine, and I might end up doing that. We'll see. The frame's not like set in stone, I can always change it. Oh, and another thing that's very different from when I was doing Blade Nia is the brush that I'm using. So Blade Nia and almost every other piece before it, I used opaque watercolor almost exclusively as the method of shading it. So even back then, I had an issue with opaque watercolor. It was that it was too like gummy or something. I don't know how to describe it. It just didn't draw solidly enough. So everything kind of was very slightly tinted with color because it was just like almost like airbrushing, right? That's kind of like, it felt like that. And it was like okay enough that it would be able to make a drawing that looked passable, but it felt like just too gummy. I'm not sure if that's the word for it, but it's how I've described it internally for a while. This brush that I'm using, take a guess as to who I learned how to use this brush from. Yep, it's Vane. I was reading through his old tweets, and in a comment section, someone was asking him like about his art, and he said I use lining gouache almost everything. And it's one of the default, not lining gouache, thin gouache for almost everything. And when it was one of the default Clip Studio brushes, he said. So I immediately go and I'm like, how does this brush look? I test it out. What the hell? I really like this brush. It's really good for what I wanted to draw. It's pretty much Premiere, actually, because it can do these harder edges that the opaque watercolor couldn't. So like, now I use opaque watercolor on this setting for it, but like, if I try to use opaque watercolor, right, it does that kind of thing. And yeah, it's hard, but then like I try to smooth it out, and like now it's like soft, right? It's not a bad brush for everything, but I like this more because it also has a texture on top of it, you know? It just like overall, and because of the way that you can like streak it like this and stretch the color, you can still get like nice gradient-ish effects with it. I think it's just overall a really nice brush for shading purposes. and I'm very happy I essentially discovered it thanks to Vane. So like, there's so many things that I gotta fucking thank Vane for. I can't believe it. Also, I only just now like realized it. Thick paint is the terminology they kind of use for lineless art. This is in the thick paint tab. Something that I've noticed about a lot of my artwork is that if you take away the lines, like I'm bringing back Bladenia, if you take away the lines, it will still look like, oh, where is it? Yeah. It will still look mostly the same. The lines are useful for defining very small, slight details and giving it overall darker impression, sure, but the edges and a lot of all the detail are actually defined via shading, via that stuff. So lineless is still a solid piece. It's like an interesting kind of look, actually. I think it's cool. So thick paint, lineless. I pretty much do a lineless style, but I do it with lines. That's what I've essentially realized with my recent artwork. Alright. After this bow, we'll call it done for now, I think. Shit. Actually, one sec. Before the bows. The ear. Ears are something I almost never drew in the past as well, but Helena kind of emphasizes her ears a bit with the way her design is, because the SG is there and it like pulls the hair forward in a way that would expose the ear. I noticed that Vane draws Helena's ears a fair amount, so I started drawing ears, and as it currently stands, Helena is like the only character that I actually do consistently draw the ears of. I love Helena, man. I didn't forget, obviously, but it's a good reminder just why I started really caring so much about drawing Helena. I have a Helena body pillow. Yeah. I got that right around when the semester started, actually. Or I ordered it, and then I actually got it in hand probably around mid-October, if I'm not mistaken. Somewhere around then. Okay, how do I shade this? What color do I put? Okay, try this too. Okay. No, yeah, let's go with like this. This is probably about fine. Okay, so the ribbon, bow, the initial shade, and once we're done with that, we'll call it good for drawing tonight. I have tried to essentially keep talking for the entire duration of the stream, because I don't typically record myself, my thoughts. That's when I was watching the Bladenia stream, which I've brought up so many times now. That was what I was realizing it was kind of nice, yeah, having a record of myself, what I thought and how it was, just what I thought was important to talk about, and seeing like, do I still agree with myself, that sort of stuff. It was pretty fun. I didn't watch the whole thing because it's 2 hours long, but I did watch a good chunk of it, enough to get a pretty good feel. Yeah, someday I'll probably watch this one as well when I'm reminded of its existence. And we'll see. We're also probably going to do more of these kinds of streams more frequently. I'm not going to ever do like a daily or something, you know, because then that defeats the point. I'm not going to watch a stream if it happens every single day. But if the stream happens like once every 4 months, there's only like one of them, I'm much more likely to come back to it later, you know? I use my Discord as like a general purpose records keeping area where I just kind of talk about stuff when I feel like it. So my personal Discord is where most of my thoughts will be recorded, but having it as a voice that you can listen to hits different. I have noticed that as far as I've said this a lot, I guess, in the past as well, but I'm significantly more talkative and interesting to talk to when I'm only talking to myself. If there was a chance that anyone was actually listening, like if I was streaming on Twitch, even if it was no viewers, that there's a chance that there could be one viewer at some point, right? And if there was ever that chance, I just wouldn't talk. I've streamed on Twitch before with my mic on, and I've basically not talked at all. I don't like to talk to people. I don't know. Talking to yourself is safe because you know everything you're gonna say. And so, I feel like the ribbons look terrible. One sec. There's gotta be a better way. I'm looking for references. There's gotta be a better way. Okay. One sec. Okay, I got it. You know what? So this playlist that I'm on listening to for Victoria Calamity OST is about to end, like 11 minutes from now. I know because the last song is 11 minutes long and it's gonna play the last song in a second. So you wanna we'll finish the entire OST, I guess. We didn't start from the beginning, but we'll finish the rest of the OST. Guess who I'm referencing right now when I'm drawing this? Yeah, it's Vayne. It's always Vayne. Well, okay. There's the shade layer now. Sometimes when I draw stuff, my entire arm and body starts to just hurt for no reason, but when I get into a real rhythm, it doesn't. So I don't really know if I'm just ignoring the pain or if I just have bad posture usually, and somehow I can only get into a rhythm if I find the good posture. That might also be an explanation. Got a good rhythm going. Oh, another thing. Before we continue. There you go. Now the ribbon makes sense. I was forgetting the dimensionality of it. I kind of want to avoid changing the silhouette, so guess we're not going to. Terraria's Calamity OST is really good, but the gameplay can be a little annoying. I feel like Calamity actually does a lot correct. It's just unfortunately beset by some late game balancing that makes it less fun. It's there's a lot of quality of life changes that are unironically so good. And even a lot of the AI changes that they give to the bosses are unironically also really good. There's so much about it. I feel like they did right. And then they just get to post-Moon Lord and they start to scale shit up to unimaginable degrees. It's come on. Calamity was good for so long and then it just got to the end and it was fuck. Why? That's kind of the feeling I got. much to say. I'm just trying to figure out this ribbon. I still have trouble with these things, little accessories. I just don't know what surfaces are important to define, which ones I should ignore for simplicity's sake. People are so good at art. One day, I wish to be also pretty good at art. One day. What is my New Year resolution when it comes to art? If I have one. I didn't really make any formal resolutions. I just want to keep drawing mostly. Make sure I don't stop. One thing that terrifies me is that I'll just one day stop wanting to draw completely and utterly and just give up on it. It doesn't seem like that'll happen, but it's not impossible. I've seen really good artists that just disappear one day from the internet. Maybe their works are still up, but they haven't posted in 10 years. It's like, where'd they go? Did they die, or did they just stop, you know? I don't know. Maybe they did just stop. Or even worse, they are posting, but not art. Like, actually, that reminds me. So, Helena's artist, the official artist, I mean, he is alive, as far as I'm aware, because his Twitter still retweets and likes things. But he hasn't worked on any game art or any kind of art really for this kind of stuff in years. He's done very, very few like fan art sort of things as well. But he hasn't done official art for the longest time. And it makes me wonder, like, did he just stop wanting to draw? He hasn't. It's part of why Helena hasn't gotten skins is because her artist isn't active as far as art goes in terms of creating for games. So yeah, she's just not getting skins because the guy is not drawing anything. And why? Well, maybe there was a reason, but it would have been in Japanese, so I don't know what it is.
That looks terrible.
Yeah, that looks fucking awful. One second. This is another one of those examples of complexity where it doesn't need to be. I don't think I need to pay this much attention to this small detail, but here I am, fucking myself over trying to work on this, and it's not going to look better. It really won't even look, probably doesn't even look good at all as a result, but I'd spent how long on that, and it just doesn't look good. Yeah.
Why does this bow look so weird? I'm not sure. As it stands, anything? Is there any change that we wanted to make, or are we fine with this for now as base color go? I mean, in its shade goes. I forgot. Purple was supposed to get some. Vane doesn't shade the purples. I noticed that. I do though. I think he did it for the money hole. No, he didn't. Never mind. Ugh, complexity and simplicity. I thought he did because I remembered it being like toned. No, he didn't. He just put lines in a certain density pattern. Yeah. I have not been as talkative in the last couple of minutes just because I'm tired. I am tired of talking. I am naturally not the kind of person that talks a whole lot. It took a lot of effort to bring me to even talk as much as I did, so... Maybe there's not that much to talk about either. Shading hair. You know, I do think our process for doing hair is pretty solid now. Like, it actually turns out pretty nice in my opinion. We have the components necessary to make good hair, is what I can say. At least, okay, shade and good hair. I still feel like my lines for my hairs are lacking sometimes, but at least if we can get the lines down, we'll probably be able to shade it perfectly. It's kind of weird having people who actually look up to me as an artist. I know a couple of people that I'm pretty sure probably respect me, like azur artists and stuff. Just it's weird. I'm not actually that special, I don't think, but on the tier of like typical artists, I think I am decently high up there. As far as it goes. What? Oh. So yeah, you know, especially for a person who it doesn't study art like as my actual major or anything. I do this for fun all my free time, and it still turns out pretty good. Art education is so unnecessary, is what I guess I've been told. In terms like a formal education, you don't need that. If you have the willingness to learn and the time and dedication, you can learn it all on your own, and you should do that because that's going to be more valuable to you in the end. Maybe. I don't know. I haven't had formal education, so I can't actually tell you if that was worth it. I just didn't need it, and I know the artist that I respect didn't need it either, as far as I'm aware. He tried to apply for Masters in Art, but he didn't get in, and so he became a titty artist, which is fair. I don't know. I hope that man's doing well. I've been subscribed to his Pixip bandbox for months now. I don't know if I will unsubscribe anytime soon. I probably should. Like, my frugal site tells me that I should have subscribed for more than 1 month to begin with. Because you only need 1 month to scrape all the content, which I did. I have all the content that was posted at the time, and he has not uploaded anything since, so... At the same time, I owe it to him for my art. Well, essentially, is what I feel like. I owe it to him that he's been such a heavy influence for me, such a heavy inspiration, that even if I don't actively get any new content from him, I've gotten so much from him already that I should, giving him a bit more is no problem. Yes, that's kind of how I've rationalized it recently. Doesn't mean I won't change my mind, but I don't know. That's how it is. The absolute state of things. Alright, the playlist did finish if you couldn't tell. The music was really soft, so I don't even know if it's audible on the stream. I'll check afterwards, though. But yeah, that should be it. That's an it shades for everything. Sometimes I render the eyes out in this stage, but not always, and I don't think I will this time. I will, however, adjust them a bit. 1 sec. Eye. We're gonna shrink this eye a little bit. It's probably not. I think the eyebrows are also gonna play a part, but whatever. Let's save a duplicate of this for now. Alright, and let's post it to my personal Discord. Init shade is about done, so we can do surfacing and stuff next. After we fix up the face and render the eyes out, probably. I think this will turn out to be a cute enough drawing so long as we can fix the face. It really is just the face that's bothering me at this point. I feel like the overall outfit design is fine. The hair doesn't look terrible. I think it really is just the facial expression that's bothering me. So we'll see. But as far as drawing goes, that's it. I am going to call it a quits for now. How much drawing was that? Let's check the stream length. Damn, 2 hours. Yeah, we're still not fast at drawing. But we do like to draw lots. Okay, balloons. Does this work? Actually, give me a minute. I'm gonna put my drawing tablet away before we actually do anything. Alright, we're back. I need to check if the mic works because I unplugged my earbuds for a second and that sometimes fucks things up. Mic appears to be working. The Steam page is showing. That's not what I wanted it to show. Huh? Why is the Steam page showing of all things? What? Wait, what? That doesn't even make sense. Okay. Oh, balloons. Let me see if I can also get BlueStacks running. Right, we have BlueStacks running as well as bloons. So where's my... Do I have BlueStacks? Oh, it's right here. Can I copy this? Copy and paste duplicate. There it is. Alright. So we now have, apparently it needs to update. So we now have both our games on the screen at once. BlueStacks is the lesser important one because it's going to be auto-battling. Well, okay. Guess to be fair, bloons is also pretty unimportant. I don't have these ships. Haitian's pretty cute. Say at dailies. So when I get to 50, we get almost every tower in the game actually. We don't get farms of any kind though. Oh, we get Chinooks. So we'll farm with Chinook and Sniper probably. Is there any other farms? I could farm with NG as well. I'm gonna go for around 100 because. No, not bad. Unshunned. Is it finished? Damn, it was. They've given us gems too. It's pretty nice. Azur is such a generous gotcha. There's no Helena content still. Yeah, it does. It's something about if you hang it upside down, it'll like, I don't know, I don't remember exactly. Luck. Black Prince. Fair enough. Oh yeah, there's this event. Parzival. We've been grinding Parzival EXP. She should be done soon enough. We don't have enough money. 30k is what we need. Okay. Let's do a build. Still don't have Bristol. It won't give me Bristol. Buy the bloons anytime they appear. Oh shit. Need to sack some stuff. Before we start bloons, we need to get this to an auto battle state, so that's what I'm doing. There's a lot of housekeeping that you do want to get done first. Alright, we start battling. And alright, we're gonna try to farm as much as we can. So what we wanted was highly pilot sniper as our farm. But we could also use NG trap. Okay. Oh, yeah. How's the stream looking? Yeah, that's basically it. Just balloons on one end. Is this hard? That's medium. Okay. I hope that we don't need to enhance right now. As far as balloons is going, of course. As far as balloons is going, I'm going to be going for the balloon trap as soon as we can. Because balloon trap is our earliest farming option that we have, pretty much. There it is. It's also our only early game lead. Which, to be fair, I have nothing prepared for that. So I do need to do something about lead. Because the balloon trap cannot, I don't think it can capture all of it. Oh, okay. It can capture it all. I guess. I know the next round 30 has a bunch of leads as well. God damn it. Can it capture them all too? Damn, it can. I didn't expect to get this far. Guild logistics. Exercise. We can do the exercise things later. I'll do one now. These loading screens are real nice. I appreciate Azur. Yeah. The art's pretty good. Maybe I'll be able to draw on that level one day. Okay. Oh, I actually have to clear that one still. Okay. Yeah. So I don't have Moab popping power here. I don't have Moab popping, like, at all. Fine, let's get... Does a village reach? Okay, so a village would reach Churchill placed in, like, this position, I think. Which is all we need. I'm gonna make sure. Yeah, okay. This should be enough to defend the Moab. I'm going for supply drop now. No, I'm not. Oops. Shit. Did I farm too hard? Have I farmed too hard? What can deal good Moab damage that is also very cheap? Because evidently this was not enough. Oh shit. I have fucked up. um... Oh shit. So we need. Yeah, we're gonna grab another supply drop soon. Right, so there's that. Now we'll get the support Chinook. Okay, yes, it fits. Yeah, we must have failed. And they must have failed too. Operations is actually really strong. I'm gonna go for this guy. Operations next. Because we can afford it. And operations is pretty powerful. Yeah, okay. Oh, okay. I might close Azur soon. Just solo bloons after this. U73 is pretty good. I like U73. Yeah, she's so cute! And it's a free skin, apparently. Excuse me. Chemist tea.
I got. I'll do it later. Yeah, I don't know. Anshan. We need to do some like main story. Not main story, but like run some of these so we can.
Okay, well, I left for a second because I thought I heard someone knock at the door, but it does not appear like anybody was knocking at the door. Okay, 1 sec. Operations, so these are the buttons I need to press. I'm going for a bloon trap now. Blue Trapper made us a bunch of money. Oh wait, this has gotta be a prime. Okay, and now noise. Not bad. So we got a triple pilot defense, which is pretty powerful. Hers 64k. This guy generated 162k. Pretty powerful. This guy generated like, it didn't generate money directly, but he lowered the cooldowns by 20%, which is pretty significant for all these guys. If I'm not mistaken, this also. No, maybe not. Wait. Oh no. I thought Call to Arms actually quickened ability cooldown as well, but it doesn't look like it does. Oh well. I mean, surely it was important, right? And there's one more, possibly. Do I do this one? I don't like doing challenges that have more than one round. Okay. How much monkey knowledge have we spent as in it? 51, 66, 84, 97. Okay. Guess we're not getting that for a while. I haven't really been playing much actual maps. Could probably beat this on a pop-ups. Alright, well actually, I was gonna say we close azur, but now that we're done with the bloons, we actually close bloons. We can stream azur specifically. Once this runs over though, we're probably just gonna close it as well. We gotta get to bed. Yeah, now I'm just gonna browse. I don't know. I'll check if there's any Vayne art. Because Vayne has like a habit of posting at 3 a.m. No, nothing new. Oh well. I'll check regular Twitter. Neo? Wait. Boba sword. Yep. Every single person who draws ball does the Booba sword pose, lol. Okay. Oh yeah, Pokemon fucking Legends Arceus or whatever came out today, I think. I have seen a little bit of gameplay because Nairo, it looks very ugly. There's some gameplay that makes it look really stupid too. Like your character can barely walk up hills, and like that just doesn't work in an open world kind of game. How do you make an open world game and then you can't walk up like a hill? It's so sad. And then
The one thing that was cool from what I'd seen so far was like, yeah, battles being like directly, you're just walking in the open world and it transitions straight into the battle. That's cool. But guess what? Xenoblade already does that. You know, like this kind of shit's not new. Pokemon's behind. Yeah, I don't know. When are we gonna get Xenoblade 3? Okay, wait one sec. I'm seeing some nice hair posts. I gotta save these for later. I feel like, wait, this is a maid. There's a maid channel in one of my servers that I'm in, so I've got to post that there as well. Media sharing, post it there. That's where I usually put my eventual. Oh, I got a Lulu. You know what? Actually, I think we need to do another run because we're almost capped on oil. One sec. Would we enhance cuts? Okay. What's her name? Who's Lulu? Right. Where's Lulu? There you are. Right, and we'll do another run. In fact, we'll use a combat logistics on this run too. Just so I use more oil than usual. Actually, if we're gonna do that, we might as well choose a map that's more important to grind. Is there any map that we wanted to grind? Can I grind 11 maps? I haven't tried to grind 11 maps with this team. Fine, I'll just do this one. And I guess we keep browsing Twitter. NJ. Damn. Yunjin. Oh. Cat or dog? Kakeno Joe is putting out this poll. Is it cat or dog? NFT. Naoki Saito is doing another one. Bad. What? And now? No, not now. Okay, there's this guy, Ace Pedro, or Ace Arc Sage, whatever. He's been posting a lot of like sexual fantasy things on Twitter with like men. Fictional men, yes, but still. I was gonna look at this guy's page, that's why. What the fuck? Does he only have 4 media posts? Come on, how do you only have 4? Who are you? Is this your actual? Yeah, this is your actual. Okay. Some of the, yeah, I was just wondering about the artist. Does Vane follow them? That's a good question, actually. I should check. No. Who's Akina? Oh, Akina. Does Vane follow them? No. Who's Akina? I mean, their art's pretty. I followed a lot of people that I... Oh, Blood Maid. That might have been... I don't know if that's where I followed them from. Oh, what the hell? Why... How come people are just deleting their tweets, man? They might have deleted the tweet I found them from, so I'm not gonna look too hard. Is that it? No Lulu drop, but hey, we got some oil consumption. Helena. I love Helena. And Helena Meta, both. More carriers. I didn't expect Taiho's voice to be that high pitched. Also, hey. PR3 EXP packs. The only one I don't have is Champagne. So, oh fuck. Complete commissions. Yeah, these are gonna take a while and they're not even gonna be useful because I already did them. That's it for now. Well, yeah, we're stopping the stream. Nothing interesting really happened after I stopped drawing. I pretty much just stopped talking. That's how I typically am. Let's get to bed. It's almost 3 o'clock and we need to wake up at 10. Good